Hello, old Darren here. Thank you for joining me. Lovely to have you. If you'd like to see more unexplained and strange disappearances, subscribe and stay tuned for daily uploads. Now then, on to the video. The Dahlsjö case, the only unsolved mass disappearance in Sweden. Three strange things coincided on July 29, 1965, in the city of Gothenburg in Sweden. All in all, 4 young men and 1 Volvo car disappeared that day. It is Sweden's only unsolved mass disappearance, and the rabbit hole is very deep, confusing, and full of conflicting information. This is just an attempt to provide the basic information of the 3 separate cases. The port city of Gothenburg has always been Sweden's gateway to the world. This was especially true in the decades following World War II, when the rebuilding of Europe created a huge demand for Swedish wood, steel, and industry products. Geir Karlsson, 22, Jan-Olof Dahlsjö, 21, and Kjell Ecke Johansson, 16, were 3 friends who found work in this environment at shipyards and industries. They were loyal and trustworthy to their friends and families, but were also known to get into trouble with the police for minor crimes. Sometimes they carried surprisingly large amounts of money. They were last seen on the rainy Thursday morning of July 29, 1965, driving a midnight blue Volvo that belonged to Jan-Olof Dahlsjö's brother, even though none of them had a driver's license. All 3 of them were reported missing at different times, and it took months until the police could confirm that they disappeared at the same time. They had salaries waiting for them that were never collected. All of them had girlfriends, and Kjell Ecke, the youngest, even became a father shortly before the disappearance. They had been heard planning to go on a camping trip together to the village of Asa, south of Gothenburg. But the weather was especially bad that day and not suitable for camping, and they didn't tell anyone that they were leaving on that day. Extensive searches of bodies of water in and around Gothenburg have turned up nothing that indicates that they crashed into the water somewhere. The missing art student. The 4th person that went missing from Gothenburg that day was Hubner Him Lundqvist, 18, an art student from Stockholm. He spent the summer of 1965 with his family at their summer residence in Torekov in the south of Sweden, but got bored and said that he wanted to travel to Lysekil, north of Gothenburg, where a collective of artists resided. The path to Lysekil goes through Gothenburg, and he either hitchhiked his way there or took a train. He left his family on the morning of July 29th and arrived in Gothenburg sometime during the day, where he sent a postcard to his parents that read, "All is well, don't worry. This is the last trace of him." The Frogman heist. 2 men, one of them dressed as a woman, stormed the bank at Gamla Stadstorget in Gothenburg shortly after 2 p.m. on the same day, firing wildly into the ceiling with submachine guns. A bank customer that happened to be a wrestler tackled one of the robbers to the ground. This caused the robber to shoot himself in the leg, but the robbers managed to leave the bank with a loot of 18,000 kroner. Bank employees chased the men to see where they went. The robbers scrambled down to the nearby river and stripped away their clothes, revealing scuba gear underneath. The bank employees tried to hinder the men by throwing rocks at them, but the robbers fired back with volleys of gunfire, forcing the pursuers to retreat. The robber who accidentally shot himself stayed stationary under the murky water for several hours, hindered by his wounded leg, while the other one slipped away with the money. Both of them and a 3rd accomplice got caught by police eventually. All 3 of them were Hungarian citizens who fled to Sweden after the unrest in Hungary during the 1950s. The parents of Himmer, the missing art student, always believed that he left the country to work on the high seas. 2 Swedish sailors have reported speaking with a young Swedish man of similar appearance in the late 1960s, once in Singapore and once in Australia, but these sightings are unconfirmed. A weird observation was made by the sister of Geir Karlsson, one of the missing dock workers, sometime after his disappearance. She went to look for her brother at his apartment, but a stranger opened when she knocked at the door. The young man in front of her was dressed in a knitted sweater that she had made for her brother. The stranger was visibly stressed and told her to look for her brother in the pub district. Police reporters and amateur detectives have tried to connect the dots between the cases for more than 50 years, but all attempts have failed. Thank you for watching, and please feel free to give this video a like if you enjoyed it. See you soon, and remember, stay vigilant and stay safe.